Eye injuries in the outdoors, hiking and camping. There are a variety of things that can happen, and we're going to get into those and show you what should you have with you, what should you maybe not, and how to get back safely. It's been a while. I want to let you know with a little update that the vaccines across the United States are down across the board for RSV, influenza, anywhere from 3 to 9%, depending on which one. And subsequently, what's happening is RSV, COVID, influenza A and B, uh, parainfluenza, norovirus, they're all through the roof. I am here to tell you, please, please get your families vaccinated. Really important stuff. All right, here we go. Eye injuries. So this gentleman here was allergic to pine resin. He was cutting grass and got really just inundated with pine resin, and both of his eyes were swollen up. So once you know that you're allergic to a certain agent, it's best to avoid that at all costs. Thank God he doesn't live in the northern woods of Wisconsin or Minnesota. And it's really helpful to take antihistamines, cool washcloth, even some antihistamine eye drops help this guy. This next individual, this is an allergic conjunctivitis where you get this bolus like fluid filled on the conjunctiva, and it looks worse than it is. This lady got better literally in 12 hours with some antihistamine eye drops like Pat-A-Day. They come in 12 and 24-hour drops. The 24-hour drops is once a day. It's about $24. You can get the 12-hour one for half that cost. And that with a cool washcloth and some antihistamines, Zyrtec, Benadryl to keep in your backpack works really, really well. And she did excellent. So allergic conjunctivitis can look like this too. Now this is traumatic conjunctivitis from getting hit with a limb, and there's no blood behind the cornea, which we'll get to. This looks really terrible. Normal saline drops, cool washcloth. There were no lacerations, and actually she did really, really well. Took about 72 hours for this to improve upon, and she did good. So the next gentleman, though, this guy had a laceration. He was actually hiking, caught a limb, had to stitch him up right next to his eye. He was eventually sent to an ophthalmologist because we were somewhat concerned he got one of the tear ducts. He did not, and he did really well on some prophylactic antibiotic drops and did great. So this is a hyphema. If you look at the very bottom of the iris there of the cornea, you'll see from about 5 to 7 o'clock, that dark area, that's blood. And those are concerning. Really important to not lay flat, be at about a 45-degree angle. If you can't get back to your car or you can't get to an urgent care or ER, then you really need to sleep at night about a 45-degree angle. Really, really important. And then we have non-compliance. This gentleman slept with his contacts in, and he was told to see an ophthalmologist as soon as possible. He did not, and he delayed that, and it got worse. It got so bad when I saw him that I implored him to go to the emergency room, and I really don't know if he did or not. He is going to have surgery, and this is really a very bad outcome of sleeping with your contacts in overnight, combined with non-compliance of not following through when a healthcare provider says, hey, you should really get this taken care of much sooner than later. So that is what happened with him, and I don't even know the outcome. So this gentleman here, he has or lady, I should say, she slept with her contacts in, and you see right there that little white spot, little tiny ulceration. If you're camping overnight, I know it can be a hassle, but please, please, when you're take your contacts out. Don't sleep with them. You're going to be in a world of hurt and pain, and it's really avoidable. Irrigate those contacts, keep them clean, and if you have dailies, just throw them out. This next individual here, you have a foreign body. Now, these I don't advise you removing in the outdoors, especially if it could be metal. This could be a flat piece of metal. It's right there on the cornea. You can see it at about the 7 o'clock position. And this was easily removed with a cotton tip applicator or a piece of tissue. However, you don't know how deeply that's embedded. So these need to be brought in. You do not do these in the outdoors. And so that's crucial that you be very careful with these. And get back to a lot of urgent cares have slit lamps and they can easily be taken care of. So that's what that one is. Now, this next one is a foreign body, an actual flower seed under the lid. And one of the things that in one of our videos I discuss is how to flip a lid. I'll put that video at the end. It's very simple. It doesn't hurt. And this can easily relieve the pain. And it feels like something the size of Texas. And you remove this flower seed and the person is just absolutely ecstatic, because there's no more pain. And a lot of times when you blink and you have something there, you'll create scratches on your cornea. Now, this next individual was actually deer hunting. And as they were walking in through the woods, they were trying to move the briars out of the way. This person caught a briar. We use fluorescein. It's a stain to stain the eye, and that's a woods light, almost like back in the college days in the 60s and 70s where you had all the posters up. And about 12 o'clock, you'll see that bright area. That is where he got an abrasion by a thorn. Didn't puncture anything, so that's awesome. We put him on some over-the-counter normal saline and put him on a prophylactic antibiotic drop, and he would do quite fine. This next lady, she was stung by a wasp. And let me tell you, this one was a toughie. It took 72 hours before she could open her eye completely. I gave her 50 milligrams of Benadryl in the butt, and she put her on antihistamines and prednisone. Saw her back the next day, and she could barely open her eye. It took about 2 days, and she was getting relief. But this was a really tough one to crack because that wasp really nailed her, and she had a really bad histamine reaction. So always keep with you antihistamines in your backpack. And hey, when your eyes are open, keep them on the horizon, your face to the wind. We'll see you next time.